Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to look how to process image in Photoshop to creating from one image when it's coming, maybe a little bit overshot or some other effect, but we'll look how to create from the image applying all painting effect and emphasize a little bit more on the Rembrandt lighting. So we'll have this kind of triangle, bring care out, just to create more painting-alike effect inside the Photoshop. And again, we'll go to use it from this original that was shot as raw format on Canon. So let's go ahead and jump in and start working on that. Okay, so let's go start working on the image, and this was done shot as a camera raw format for in a Canon 5D Mark III. We'll start from removing chromatic aberrations, and usually it's what's happening, this kind of discoloring due to the sensors problem with the sensor, how pixel located. We won't go in technical issue, but usually it just will remove, and camera does very good job on this. Profile correction will have some lens distortions, and depend, you can see right here we can increase, decrease, and currently I probably want to keep it. I want to have this lens vignetting slightly applied as well, keep a distortion. The next important part for me, I'm doing the sharpening, and usually I will bring sharpening somewhere between 60 depending on what I process. We can come and look a little bit closer right here. Okay, we can kind of preview, see, and you can see adjustment. Problem is if we're going too far, you can notice we start having this kind of very grainy problem. So if you're going to stay about 670, it will be nice details as well. Amount of details will increase this as well, so we'll just keep it 25 as default for this round. Let's go next. We'll go to our adjustments. And because I shot in the studio with a preset lighting temperature, and again I was using Einstein E640 heads, and they're very accurate on the color, but if you want you can always come and adjust coloring to add colder or warmer look. So we'll go again to 56 as a default on this. As exposure, same, we don't need correct on this. Highlights in some areas, like right here, maybe if you feel it's too hot, we can a little bit flatten. On the highlights, I don't think we need to do that much work. It's soft. And the lighting, it was just a one light source here, was positioning just right here, just almost out of the shot of the camera. So, but it closer to the subject, and it's very deep type parabolic antennas, so it have it almost no fallout, more straight going in. On this case, we have it because closer to the subject, we have it some lights covering none as smooth, and we have it more start kind of sharper fallout with lights on the end. Shadows we could bring, and in some cases I do bring in, and if I bring up right here, you can see the edge. Okay, let me see if I can bring more in. You can see right here dark edge. This is how close was the parabolic was very close to the our modifier was very close to our subject, so you can see in this case. Okay, again, we don't need necessarily do this. We'll bring this down and take shadows, bring, and usually when we add black, it's actually will be disappearing, so we don't worry too much about this. Okay, shadows usually I just bring to add some details in these areas. Problem with bring too much on the shadows, we will start having problem with the grain and noise. So if we bring up, you can see we start having kind of noise start appearing in the area, so we don't want to do this. Bring down, and I think the overall lighting gets look about right. We could play and adjust a little bit more with the adjustment, and usually I go in luminosity in the adjustments, and we'll take the orange, and you can see on the skin if we have it flatten up or we want to bring more in the colors, we can do this as well. Just bring a little bit more yellow, other color. Same like on her blue dress, maybe just bring a little bit up, emphasize those highlights. But overall I think it's look okay, except on a red chair. I don't know if we want to bring this redness. but we can bring slightly redness. As well, if you notice on some of your models, you maybe have some redness in specific areas. We can go in saturation and take slightly down. Don't need to all the way, just a little bit to tone down on these yellowings. And if you want it as well, we can go on here saturation and same things. We can just slightly adjust some of those yellow stuff. Again, I will leave it alone. I will do this in Photoshop, but just overall we can adjust, because I see the difference right here. We have the redness areas as well as the hands a little bit more red versus other ones. I want to create a little bit more unitone color in this case. When we're done, I'll go open this image. And again, it depends how you prefer. You can open as a copy. You can always go open as an object. I open as an image because I can go back, and usually I'll just continue working with this non-destructive way. Okay, first step as we're working, I want just to remove small dust that maybe lens was producing on top of the lens, and sometimes hair and some small elements. So we'll go create new layer. So let's go touch up on this one. We'll just very simple, we won't go any fancy, we won't do any frequency separations or anything for this, but I want to do just healing brush. And you can see right here, we'll just touch up very fast some of those teeny tiny elements, not that many. So just have a very nice skin. Just in a couple of elements, we'll go to chop. Again, we will smooth this more. Okay, right here, mostly just like those ones, bright. And I do, actually, when I work with models, I do like preserve some of the skin texture. I don't like remove everything, all the small things that actually make real looking. Okay. Her it's clean. We'll leave it dress as is, so when touch, just check up on the hands, and the hands actually look very good. So in this case, we don't have that much to touch up to do. Let's go next to add some shadows, and this way we'll go emphasize a little bit, because if you know on Rembrandt what is happening, what we call with Rembrandt light, or this area light, so we should have it almost like a triangle go right here with lights, and lights go more. So we kind of going to start emphasizing those area. Let's create new layer. We'll go this dodge and burn. Okay, let's go set this to violet so I know. Okay, and then next we're going to select our brush. For this one, I will use it soft brush, and we also will go use it opacity down to maybe 10, 5 or 6 will work, somewhere around this area. I'm using mouse when I'm doing this, and this is doing because I work a lot with 3D applications, which some of not support Vicom, so I learned how to do with mouse. You can use it with Vicom pad and set your adjustments. For me, I just set very soft, and I'm just using small strokes to do this, you know, to just apply. Okay, right here we'll go to fill up this layer with 50% gray, touch and burn, and we'll switch to the soft light. Depend what you prefer. I say I will use it brush, and the same effect will be for black and white. You can actually go and you can use it tools. You can use it right here. Actually, we have it our dodge and burn tool, which is will do about the same as a brush, but I like brush more consistent this way. So right there, I'm just emphasizing, adding a little bit more shadows, creating this kind of more effect. Add a tunnel. And again, one thing when we look at an image, this is actually a flat image. Only with perception hour on the depth, we will apply with the shadows and highlights on the first. We'll also can with color change, but currently we don't have a depth enough to have this haze and discoloring, as well as loss of detail. So because the object closer, most important for us in this case, it will play it's a shadows and highlights, and that's what we're going to do. So we'll go with a soft with these details, and we'll add those shadows in areas. Okay, right here. And usually I start work with the shadows. Again, we can go around, add. If you're not familiar where to actually create shadows, how to do, let me go to 10%. You can start by going with natural shadows and create this way. If you can actually totally modify body shape with the shadows if you want it, but I will recommend in this case open anatomy reference and go from there so you can create. Okay, so right here I applied some bigger. We can come closer, reduce our brush, again have softness, and we can apply just a little bit right there on the lips. Okay, let's bring closer right there, painting with the eyes slightly. I don't want too much. X will switch to the highlights, so we can add a little bit on the highlights right there on the cheek. A little bit. We'll can on another one. If you're overdone, you can come back after and just touch up with the darker, so you don't. Also on the eyes, I want not all eyes, but I want right here just highlight a little bit. Just bring this little bit depth to our eyes. Okay, let's go on the lips. We can just make one small line on the lips, add a little bit to the teeth. Okay, and you notice I'm decreasing size of my brush. I'm not sure if I like this, so let's go back to darken a little bit. Okay, zoom out. Okay, we can preview before and after. You can see we add a little bit more depth right here, kind of look funky. So we can just add a little bit more depth to this area and fix a little bit brighter. Okay, so almost like you're creating painting, but you can see how we add a little bit more shape to this. Okay, we go right here. Let's go add more highlights. So we'll add area maybe right here on the chin a little bit. And we'll go add just highlights to the lines on a dress. So just add a little bit this way. And let's go with the hands. Because hands is red and I want to add a little bit more interesting details to them. So we highlight, create this extra highlighting on our hands. So right there. There you go. Okay. Before and after. You don't need necessarily to do this dramatic right here. It's look like a little bit too much under eye. Again, we can go select white, maybe even set smaller, like maybe even 5%. And just a little bit reduce. Right there, softer. I think it was a little bit too much. There you go. Okay, so this is one way with retouching. The hair, I want also touch up a little bit at this point because it looks messy. I want a little bit more paint effect. So we go in Control Shift Alt E or Command Option Alt E on a Mac. We'll create a new layer. What it does, it take all visible layers, merge them together and creating new layer out of this. So for that, we'll go create hair. And for the hair, I'm going to filter. And we'll go to actual stylizations and we'll use it oil painting. And you can notice right here on a hair, when I come closer, I'm kind of going for this. So 100% stylization, cleanness. Our scales, we actually want to, let me see on a scale, we'll go to 1%, maybe, maybe pop up a little bit, and brush gel 100%, 10. So we'll create this. You can see how we applied. We don't necessarily want that effect, so we'll create mask on a hair. Command Control I to invert our mask. We'll take tool. We'll switch to the 10% opacity on our brush, and it's white brush. And now we can kind of start painting in. Let's zoom in so we can preview. And you can see as I'm painting, it's a little bit cleaning this hair. Okay, right here, saying before and after. So just remove a little bit of this messing. We don't need it all of this, but it does create this nicer little bit effect. Of course, we'll need to pop up hair back up on a contrast, and we'll do this in a second. So right there. This will work also on some clothes. If you want reduce some details, you always can go and just kind of painting like this around to reduce some noise in a clothes if you need it. But it will create nice painting effect. Okay, just overall a little bit clean up on a hair. If we look on the back, before and after. Okay, let's add a little bit more contrast to our hair. We'll go create adjustment layer. We'll go to curves, and as a curves, we're going to overlay. Let's take middle and bring up. So we'll bring up middle, add a few points so we don't need to break around, and bring a little bit more up. So around right here, let's add more contrast to our hair. Again, we'll go Control Command I to mask this, and now we'll go inside the hair and start a little bit painting in. So we did remove, by doing this painting tool, we do apply a little bit of flatten, remove contrast. So with this, we little bit restore contrast. We can do this also with luminosity we're using, but currently I just want to use it with applied. Okay, let's go zoom out. You can see we add more highlights to this. Again, we can look back and add highlights more to the hair. Okay, creating volume look. Okay, let's zoom back out. Okay, right here we have our model. So let's go next to reduce some of digitalizations in the skin to smooth out. As well, if you notice right here, we still have a little bit redness, and sometimes I remove it, make all flat. But if we're going with the older edge, sometimes painters purposely leave it natural look, so it depends. Removing actually is not that hard. We can create new layer, take our paintbrush, we can take a color of the skin, we can go from the face, maybe pick up from here where there's no red, and kind of start painting over. Okay, just slightly those area where you want to remove. Get with 10%. Okay, I'll take this layer, put it down below dodge and burn, so it will apply similarity. And I can see right here we can again take some this coloring, just add it, and let's go switch this to the color effect. And right here you can see we remove the redness. So all what we applied coloring, keep it same luminosity. Again, like example right here, you can see redness before, and we kind of bring it down. So again, if you want to do, we can leave it just as example. So we'll just remove skin red down. Same things we can do actually on our hands till we're touching this up. So we can go select, we already pre-select some coloring, and if you want, you can just go just slightly, not too much. But tone down this color. It's got multiple techniques how we can do this. We can do with curves, other things. Point is this, you can adjust some, add some of this redness. Again, don't be too aggressive. We don't need total plastification in this. We want to keep it model a little bit more look real to this. Okay, so let's go back above our curve where we created hair highlights. So we created on this one. Let's now to smooth a little bit on the skin. Control Alt Command E or Shift Option E. Create same merge all visible and create new layer. So we have this skin smoothness on this, and let's go, this one will be our orange color. So right here on skin smoothness, let's come closer. What's happening, it's actually very good texture, and I don't necessarily need in this case, but sometimes if you want tone down or create more look like a painting kind of effect, this will apply it. In this case, we'll go filter, noise, and we'll go to dust and scratches. And this is based on resolution of your image. You can go any values. Usually what I'm going to the down till I start to see some like these details right here. So this is about, I want to keep it. So I'll click OK. This is our image. And now again, we created new mask for this. We'll take this mask, Command Control I inverse as well. Take our brush. And we'll start brushing in areas. So right here, example, this is actually work very well if you want to blend with background, but overall, I don't want too much, but I want smooth in some areas. Again, we don't, when you work with high-end models, sometimes you want to retouch eyebrows, add eyelashes. We won't do in this one because this is more to the kind of natural look. We'll leave it as is, and I have tutorials how to do those easy way to fix eyelashes, but I do prefer more natural look. But right here we'll just remove some of this grayness, and reason this is grayness why removing when we add sharpness to fix it, sometimes it will bring back this noise of digital noise, and we'll just kind of just a little bit removing or smoothing some of those shadows. And you can see right here example, you see right like in this area we have this noise. So by doing this we'll just smooth out some of the digital noise that pixelizations and other created. So overall as well, that will help us to reduce some of the details, and the details is actually what also give it us attention in specific area of the object, and also the details, it's what give it us dimension. So less details, it's more far away, closer details. Okay, as we're going, we touch up on this. Let's go, don't forget about our hands. And usually hands, you will have it higher texture than face. So we want to apply to the hands to smooth them out. If we don't do this, they will stand out quite a bit from view. As we have this tool selected, let's go increase in size, and I want just overall smooth background. Even it's a black and white or right here on the dress, this is help just remove maybe a fringing, gradient, and in this case we don't see it, but if you have it different screen you will see. But overall we're going right there and just move out. Okay, so right here is our mask. It's what we created. A couple things, if you want, you can apply to this mask. We can go as mask selected, filter, blur. We go to blur, and right here we can just go just a little bit blur a little bit, maybe around 5-4 pixels, not that much, but just helping to remove some of those fringing. Okay, so right here we have our model done. So let's go. I just want preview on the framing a little bit. So probably want to bring a little bit maybe closer. Kind of like this to the subject. Okay, I want delete or information, so in case I want to come back, but this way it's helped me framing a little bit better my model. We can leave it as default before because it was already out of the shot, was framing, it was okay. We can always come a little bit closer, but I think this way work better. Okay, so next step, I want to emphasize, add a little bit dimension, and I don't know we'll keep it or not, but it will help bring some extra texture in materials in other areas. So again, Command Shift Alt Option E or Control Shift Alt E, create new layer by merging them. So we'll go up to DB on this. Let's go with that one. We'll go to the blue. Okay, we'll go to now Image, Adjustments, Black and White. And then black and white, usually what's happening, I will convert to soft light. And soft light work this way. 50% gray, it does have no effect. And from this, if it's go lighter, it will add lighting as it's contrast based layer adjustments are. And if it's darker after 50, it's make darker. So what I'm doing right here approximately, I'm adding a little bit more light to the red color and yellow like her hair. And because we don't have it any other ones, I could actually take her dress down darker, but because I want to bring texture, I will bring blue a little bit up. So just add those elements, bring them more to the upper level of the gray color. Next we go Image Adjustments, we'll go to Shadow and Highlights. We'll take amount 100% on both. And if you don't see this, you probably in kind of basic mode, you want to click and show all more options. You notice right here we have our umbrella even visible. Okay, I mean a modifier. And now we'll take tone, make it smaller pixels, maybe around 13. And on tone, what I'm looking on a face, I'm looking right here with the shadows, I bring down. And I'm just looking on the highlights, maybe bring around this area. Okay, so right here, 50% gray probably will be in less effect, but darker area darker and brighter bring more in. We'll switch more to the soft light. You can see right here how it's add a little bit contrast. And if we look closer on the material, you can see texturing, how it's emphasized. Again, we don't need 100% because it's become very crush black. So, but I will bring down and start bringing slightly in, maybe you know what, 10-13%. So just a little bit adjustment and some texture. If we have it less contrasted image, I may add it more, but I think for this is work well. Okay, let's go again on the skin. You can see right here it's add a little bit more texture. Okay, so far we created this image. Let's go to apply some color correction to this. And I'm going to create curves. And these colors will go switch blending mode to the color mode. And we'll work with the additional separations, separate curves. So we'll go on the blue first. We'll take a little bit shadow up. And take the middle point and bring down, so it's add yellowish kind of look to our image. A little bit too much on the blue. Let's go to the red, and right here, depend how you want to offset. You can go with a reddish color, but I will go with a cyanish. You can see it's add color, but I want to do on a lower effect, so I will bring back up and make our curve kind of going straight this way. So again, right here, you can see we add some tint color. If it's too much, we can always just bring a little bit down. Let's go create another curve for this. Okay, and this curve I'm going to switch to luminosity. And in luminosity we can bring, actually you can see right here we can do quite a bit on this. So I'll bring just a little bit up, tone up, and I'll take these highlights a little bit down. Okay, so this is one way. I'll disable these two tones. One thing, I want to create a global dodge and burn, 50% gray, Couple things I want to apply to this. Soft light on that. We'll have it brush. We'll have it black and white, so we'll go switch to the white, 10%, and I just want add around her face a little bit glowing, so right there. Okay, right there, a little bit more highlight. Okay, and we can take shadowing and add a little bit more shadow on her hands, hiding a little bit more on the chair. Oops. Okay, I'll come back. Okay, add. And let's hide right here. A little bit on this corner. So just add this kind of almost fallout with the global again. Before and after, you can see we brought some of that effect in. Let's create another layer. This is this one option on the grain. It is totally option if you want to do. Some people prefer. I don't do that much at all, just so we add noise. Okay, we'll switch to the overlay. If you want to do like old photos example, not painting, so you can do with this way, just add a little bit of the grain. Again, I'm not, in this case I don't want to do, but I want to add a little bit more right down as Dutch and burn. Okay, let's go zoom out, and we have it our coloring adjustments. And you know what, in a coloring now I can adjust a little bit more, bring to the yellow, like older kind of almost image creating. So let's adjust this curve, bring red, see if we need to restore some curvatures here. Okay, I think this way come up. Okay, so right here we have our image. Overall, you can see how with just dodge and burns with all this different effect, we brought in image. And let me just combine this together. Okay, this is before and after. So this was our kind of post-processing. Some of this you can go do multiple ways as you like it. But again, bring image more as the painting type effect. Maybe it's a little bit too much brush. Maybe I'm going to change cyan, but it's give you overall techniques. So thank you for watching this tutorials, and please remember subscribe this on YouTube, and also visit website www.geekaplay.com for more tutorials. Thank you.